Hey, Adam. Um, hey, Adam.
Anthony.
We just spoke with him. He was talking about his pre-draft workout and how he felt he did really well. What impressed you guys during that workout that stood out?
Yeah, his competitiveness, attention to detail, just hardworking, shooting, great character kid. We enjoyed meeting with him. He checks a lot of boxes.
Obviously, there's some things he's not, which is why he went 18, but there's certain things that you found, obviously, that you had a chance to trade away from the pick, but you decided not to. So what sold you from his game on him?
He's a winner. He's a competitor. I think he's going to be a favorite of our coaching staff, a guy that you just really enjoy coaching. And I think he's a great teammate and a hoop junkie. So I think he really fits with us.
You mentioned shooting he's in the low 30s for, overall numbers of 3-point percentage, but if you split up like guarded, unguarded, his unguarded numbers are pretty good. So when you're trying to project him into a role next to Bam and Jimmy, are those unguarded, like open catch and shoot numbers usually more useful too?
Yeah, he shot it almost 40% his sophomore year. I think as his usage or responsibilities to be a bigger scorer as a junior and senior might have brought down his shooting. So I think the expectations or the need for him to do more might have brought down his numbers, but it seems like he's going to be able to improve as a three-point shooter with our coaching and more reps with us.
It seemed like the footwork and kind of the shot fakes and all that stuff kind of stood out, and he talked about kind of watching Jimmy's game a lot. I guess did you see any of those comparisons in the film at all?
Yeah, I mean, that's his favorite player. I'm sure he studied him. We talked to so many people out west, not only with the UCLA program, but places where he worked out, and he's a student of the game. He spends a lot of time with it, so I could see where he picked that up. He seems like he really wanted to play here. Not that he told us that, but from everything that we had heard, and we heard from his agency that his family talked about coming here when they recruited him last year. So we found that out actually today after we drafted him.
He obviously has some good size at 6'6", like 220, 230. Do you guys project him at both forward spots? Does he have that type of versatility?
Yeah, I think so. I think he's going to be able to play both. He played different positions. He played 3, and they used him at 4. Cronin used him at both positions. So I think he'll be able to fit with different lineups for sure.
Part of his usage was, there's obviously the stuff with the ball in his hands, but there's a lot of off-ball cuts, like just coming off screens and all that kind of stuff. Do you see him as just feel for the game in that way? It fits really well with the offense that Spo likes to run.
I would think so. I think he's a player that doesn't necessarily he can do things without the ball, and I think that's what I think is one of his best attributes, his versatility. He can put him in a lot of different spots. Just his IQ and understanding of the game, I think is going to be a great weapon for Spo and how they can put him in all different lineups for sure.
Adam, last year you took a guy in Jović who was one of the youngest players in the draft class. This year you take a guy who's coming in at 22. Was it a priority to take someone who maybe could step in and play right away, considering where you guys are this year?
Yeah. I think we had a group of 10 guys that we really zeroed in on. And of course, it's not like a big secret. I'm sure majority of those names, and most of those players were 19 years old. And I think even though Jaime was a senior, he's only 22. He's not like there's some players are 6-year players. I think you weigh development and how long you think it might take, but you're making a decision based on the player. And some players, like we've drafted that were young, played right away and contributed. So I think you can look at each player and make that decision, who's who might take longer and who might be ready, but you're looking at who's the best fit, and I think, with Jaime, he was the best fit, and it just so happened he was a little bit older.
Adam, Jaime talked about kind of being able to play as a role player, hit shots, play defense, and we kind of asked him about what role he imagines himself playing. As far as the shots that he'd like to get to at UCLA with the kind of the individual shot creation, how do you think he can blend getting to those sorts of shots while also playing in the proper role?
Yeah, I think first step is we'll get him here tomorrow, and we'll get him ready for summer league, and that'll be up to the coaches to see what different lineups they can use him and how we can use him as a player that can go and get his own versus someone who is more used to coming off and getting it off passes. But I think he's shown an ability to do both, and so I don't see why we couldn't use him either or. I mean, Coach Spo, he was so excited. He was nervous, excited at the same time when we got him, and I think he sees what different options he can use Jaime in. Yeah.
Adam, just getting back to your bit from last year, Nikola Jovic had talked about all the weight that he had put on during the season. How pleased are you with his development and what that's going to mean for him going into the season?
It's been great. I can't say enough about our what Nico's done for himself, working with our strength team. He's still, he's still growing, still getting, his body is still taking shape. We're excited for the summer. I think he's going to show, all the work that he's put in. But his body is great. It's really incredible the amount of time he's put in and how dedicated he's been to making sure he's in the best shape he can be for this upcoming season.
All right, Adam, thank you.
All right.
All right, so that's it.
Thanks, Adam.
All right. Thanks for
We'll
sticking
tomorrow,
around.
4 o'clock.